the New York Knicks look like straight trash. You see them, points per game differential, 29th in the NBA, dead last in offensive efficiency, dead last in field goal percentage shooting, 28th. That's third worst in the league in assists per game. They're trash! They stink! And ladies and gentlemen, just for the interest of full disclosure, ESPN Radio in New York City is the flagship station for the New York Knicks, and I'm still telling you, they stink!
Can the New York Knicks, after decades of highs and lows, finally end their championship drought this season? To truly understand their current position and potential, we have to look back at their rich history, examine their painful struggles, and assess their remarkable transformation into the 2024 to 2025 squad. But what made the Knicks such a force to be reckoned with in their prime? And why did it take so long for them to rise again? The 1990s were a golden era for the Knicks, a time when Madison Square Garden was electric and the team was a powerhouse in the Eastern Conference. Under the ironclad leadership of Pat Riley, the Knicks forged their identity as a defensive juggernaut. Patrick Ewing was the cornerstone, a dominant big man whose post moves and mid-range touch were a nightmare for opponents. Surrounding him were warriors like Charles Oakley, a rebounding machine and enforcer, and John Starks, whose fiery personality matched his fearless three-point shooting. Their rivalry with the Miami Heat epitomized 90s basketball, gritty, physical, and unforgettable. Who can forget the infamous fight in the 1997 playoffs, where tempers flared and benches emptied? The Garden was alive during these battles, but despite their toughness and talent, an NBA title eluded them. With heartbreaking losses in the 1994 and 1999 NBA Finals. By the numbers, the 90s Knicks were exceptional. They ranked in the top 5 in defensive rating for 7 straight seasons, 1991 to 1998, allowing just 96.3 points per game during their peak years. Patrick Ewing averaged 23.3 points, 10.4 rebounds, and 2.7 blocks during this golden era. Yet even with those impressive stats, the ultimate prize always seemed just out of reach. Was it bad luck or a sign of deeper issues? The 2000s were unkind to the Knicks. The departure of Ewing in 2000 marked the end of an era, and what followed was a decade of instability. Coaches came and went with alarming frequency. Jeff Van Gundy, Don Chaney, Larry Brown, the list felt endless. The once proud franchise became synonymous with dysfunction. Fans who had packed the Garden during the 90s found themselves questioning their loyalty. How could a team with so much history fall so far? The financial mismanagement during this time was staggering. By 2006, the Knicks had the highest payroll in NBA history, $130 million, but consistently missed the playoffs. The Jerome James contract, 5 years, $30 million, and Eddie Curry trade became cautionary tales of mismanagement that would haunt the team for years. But what hurt the most was the lack of hope. Season ticket holders who had enjoyed 33 straight sellout seasons watched as their beloved team became a league-wide punchline. Chants of "sell the team" echoed through the Garden, a plea from the fans for change. By the mid-2000s teens, it was clear the Knicks needed a fresh start. Enter Leon Rose, a seasoned agent turned team president, and Tom Thibodeau, a no-nonsense coach with a reputation for defensive brilliance. This new leadership brought stability and a clear direction. For the first time in years, the team seemed to have a vision. One of the biggest changes was their focus on development. The Knicks established a robust G League program, with the Westchester Knicks becoming a key part of their player development strategy. Young talents emerged from this system, proving that the franchise was finally thinking long-term. At the same time, cornerstone players began to grow into their roles. Could this newfound stability be the key to turning the franchise around? This season, the Knicks have made bold moves to assemble their most formidable roster in years. Mikal Bridges, acquired in a blockbuster trade, is a game changer. His defensive prowess and ability to score efficiently add a new dimension to the Knicks' wing depth. Then there's Karl Anthony Towns, a modern big man with elite shooting and playmaking ability. His partnership with the Knicks front court offers a unique mix of power and finesse. Together, they've created one of the most dynamic front courts in the league. Add in OG Anunoby, re-signed to solidify the defense, and you have a team built to compete on both ends of the floor. Their offensive system, now ranking in the top 5 for efficiency, has been a revelation. Towns' ability to stretch the floor has opened up driving lanes for players like Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart, creating consistent scoring opportunities. But can this offensive firepower translate to playoff success? Despite their impressive roster, the Knicks' path to success hasn't been easy. Injuries to key players have tested the team's depth, forcing role players to step up. Yet, even in the face of adversity, this team has shown a remarkable resilience. Their tactical flexibility is one of their greatest strengths. Against smaller teams, they've excelled with small ball lineups featuring versatile forwards. Against bigger opponents, Towns in the front court have held their own in the paint. Could this adaptability be the secret to navigating the postseason? The road to a championship will not be easy. The Knicks face a gauntlet of tough opponents in the Eastern Conference, and each potential matchup presents unique challenges. On the offensive end, Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges would have to exploit mismatches to keep the Knicks competitive. In the second round, a meeting with the Milwaukee Bucks could set the stage for one of the most intense defensive matchups of the postseason. Bridges would likely be tasked with containing Giannis, a tall order for even the best defenders. Meanwhile, Towns' ability to draw Brook Lopez out of the paint with his perimeter shooting could open up critical driving lanes for the Knicks guards. If the Knicks make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, they could face the Boston Celtics, whose balanced roster poses threats on both ends of the floor. With Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown anchoring Boston's offense, the Knicks' defensive rotations would need to be flawless. This matchup could come down to the battle of benches, where players like Josh Hart and Isaiah Hartenstein would need to provide significant contributions to outlast Boston's depth. Each of these matchups highlights the Knicks' versatility, but also underscores the daunting path to an NBA title. The Eastern Conference is packed with elite talent, and the Knicks' ability to adjust their game plan and execute under pressure will be key to their success. The Knicks' journey from their 90s glory days to their current resurgence is a story of grit and reinvention. But they're not the only team in the NBA with a rich history and a promising future. Over in Detroit, the Pistons are writing their own then and now story, from the hard-nosed bad boys era to the young stars leading their rebuild today. Curious about how Detroit's basketball legacy stacks up? Click here to check out our deep dive into the Pistons' rise, fall, and their path to reclaiming greatness. Peace.